The life force of your bond. A power like life itself. Unseen for generations. A dyad in the force.
Hello. That didn't work. Okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dyad in the Force. I don't know why the intro didn't switch there, but it should have. Dyad episode 137, all about Vader. As we continue our crawl of the comics, last week we took a dive into Yoda's comic run, that 10-issue run by Soul. And now we're catching up with Vader by Greg Pak, 2020. That is still ongoing. What's up, Choco?
It's still ongoing. I know Johnny at least is not a big fan of it, but I don't know. There's just quite a few really good things coming about from this run, personally. But yeah, I'm doing good. Had a fantastic dinner last night. And almost saw a movie.
You know what? It's just like our episodes of Dyad, right? If the conversation's good, we just keep going. I didn't really have any inklings about stopping it short for the movie until we were well past the time. So
I could tell, because I was like a bit, but I mean, we've done a podcast long enough. For anyone who's watching, we did hang out last night. We got some Korean barbecue. We hung out with Hazel, and my wife came, and yeah, we just had some fun. We were planning to see a movie afterwards, but it didn't happen. But yeah, just like certain times here on the podcast, we'll have a guest, and I'm like, it's a great conversation, but do we want to move to the next topic? So I like toss a feeler out, and then you'll just slap it down and go, oh, no. And I'm like, all right, cool.
I mean, that's
Cool,
literally
let's keep
how
going.
it happened at the dinner. We basically, like, I think a couple of times your wife said so, and then I said so, but like just like sprinkled here and there. It was like, oh, you guys have to get to your movie, and then we just kept on talking after that. Several times before I came down, I had a time down, and then Hazel put in our names for the restaurant. It was like 2
It was a big
hours
wait.
away.
I mean, it was pretty darn good Korean barbecue, and we got served by robots, which was pretty cool. And I'm happy that the events of Dark Droids hasn't come, but since
Just to show
ongoing.
everybody, there's a little server droid. Yeah, so like that's when I canceled the tickets and went for a later time, and then we sat down at a Jamba and started talking just to pass the time, and then the time approached the second time, so I canceled those tickets, got a later time, and then we got into the restaurant with Choco's wife, Bree, and started talking. Started eating, started talking, enjoying things, and went straight past the third movie time, and then we left the restaurant and started talking in the parking lot, and it was not gonna happen at that point. Luckily, my experience in customer service, I went and got rain checks on them, so we're good to go for the next time there's a big movie. What is the next big release anyway? Not to promote it.
know.
We are standing in solidarity with the unions and the strikes. Just saying.
Yeah, no, there's always stuff going out, and I don't know, it's just a fun little pastime. Hopefully, it's kind of sucks because pandemic hit, theaters were like on their way out, and I feel like they've been making a comeback. You know what I mean? Like movie theaters and the theater experience, and I think Barbenheimer had a large thing to do with that, but turning it into an event. And then the strikes happened. So yeah, I hope theaters get involved.
I mean, just to kind of, and guys, we're opening up the floor to calls if you want to join us. I know lately these episodes have largely been kind of sparse in terms of like time sensitive content because of the strikes. So
Yeah.
we invite everybody to call in and just kind of be like, hey, I want to talk about this. Okay, you can. So everyone is welcome to call in whenever they can. Kenny, that means you if you're on break as well. I'm gonna send the link again in the chat. But as I was saying, this is kind of like excuse me. It's kind of like what's happening with games right now is that there is this renaissance of like action adventure RPG, starting with Lord of the Rings Online. I'm just kidding. Starting with Baldur's Gate 3, that's making me go back to like Pillars of Eternity, Divinity, and then Starfield is out, and then not to put a hamper on things because we support the unions. There's
Yep,
talk
now
of,
they're talking about them
talk
striking.
about striking at least games that have the likeness of actors, because voice acting in games is a different union. I don't know if they're going on strike. I know we work with a lot of voice actors who are on a different union that are currently not striking. But largely game developers aren't unionized, so we wouldn't be able to go on strike with any kind of safety net. It's largely the publishers that are. It's the large. I have to give credit where credit's due, or rather, be realistic here. My studio takes care of me. They're a great studio. Standing Stone Games, Lord of the Rings Online. It's largely large publishers like Activision and or ABK, really, that is kind of exploitative and kind of like spurs the moments of walkouts and the concept of unionizing amongst game developers, but that's not a thing that's happened over the last 50 years, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But if games go on strike, it's most likely going to be games that use actors' likenesses and work with WGA and SAG-AFTRA directly. But most of the time, small studios, independent studios, they have in-house writers themselves that are not part of the WGA. They are game writers. And usually they're like book authors too, like Avalon, Carpation, Mags.
Yeah, I mean, writers are writers,
Yeah.
really. But yeah, there will be parts of different areas and mediums.
Absolutely. What's up, Malik? Still on the job right now. 45 minutes until next break. Okay. So what else is what else can we? I got that link wrong. God dang it. There's a space in between.
But yeah, we're just hanging out with y'all in the community. So feel free to join us, so we can talk about whatever. But it's always a fun time to be a Star Wars fan, especially if you've been reading any of the books, especially Return of the Jedi from a certain point of view. I've been making some headway. Malik, I see you're in the chat. Have you read the chapter that's pretty much your campaign, the Yub Nubbeting? Just a terrifying story of being a stormtrooper who is trapped as the Ewoks are picking you off. Yeah, it's
The Yub Nubbing.
there's some good stuff in there.
Oh, speaking of Hazel, I didn't forget. It's right here. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to put my headphones on top of it, but shout out to @DosHazel for knitting. this Yoda beanie. Oh, I could do
Now,
it.
we are in talks of her creating me a Mace Windu beanie, which is just going to be a brown cap. But
It's just gonna be a bald cap at that point. Oh, I think I could do it like this.
I'm sure you could.
Found someone you have. Oh, what? Sorry.
You could probably get like a little piece of wire or like the things that they put in the collars of shirts to kind of give the ears a little bit more structure.
Sorry, taking a picture. So now I have something that is relatively, apropos for things that I say on the regular that requires a Yoda likeness. I don't have to bring out the standee over there that's out of my reach now. And I like that with my headphones, the ears prop forward on their own. That's cool. You will know.
Oh, I'm mirrored. That's why. I was like, why am I so far over to the side? And it's because it's mirrored. And the further over there, then, yeah.
So anyway, thanks Hazel for the cap. Can't wait for the defenestrated bald cap of Mace Windu for Choco. Cal says, oh my god, that's hilarious. That hat is amazing. I want a Kanan headband that can be a blindfold. Don't you just want a blindfold? Or you want like that kind of like half bald shield? Let's be honest, that was made to cover Kanan's receding hairline. But what else? I say that so that you can vamp while I send this.
So yeah, half bald shield. We could pull up to cover my own receding hair. Hey, no Kanan slander. There is no Kanan slander, Krista. We love ourselves some Kanan, one of the greatest Jedi of all time. And nope, can't say that. Let's just say I'm happy to find his son is no longer a monster.
This is true. Krista also had a wonderful talking point on the pre-show, talking about Dark Jedi, what they are, what they started out as, and why everyone largely doesn't know the truth about them. And I answered it.
I don't know.
I would love for you to get your 2 words in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dark Jedi was originally the stand-in because the word Sith wasn't in the original trilogy. You'd have to get the annotated script in order to find that word in there. But yeah, in Timothy Zahn's book, Dark Jedi was used for Vader, for anyone, for Joris Sabaoth. It was just kind of a catch-all, and it kind of took on a light of its own. But I don't know why. Well, it's because at the beginning, at least my opinion is that at the beginning, Jedi was synonymous with Force user.
Mm-hmm.
So if Jedi meant the Force user, then you would have terms for different types of Force users, as in variations of Jedi. What we find out is Jedi just a single faction of Force users, so the terms like Dark Jedi and Gray Jedi no longer make any sense.
Malik, that goes hand in hand with the fact that Sith hadn't been publicized. So in the first KOTOR, they did have Sith, but they also called them Dark Jedi, and that was largely their movement to slowly kind of 86 the term. They still had to use it in some parts. But to what Choco just said, the fact that in the original trilogy they what didn't Vader say? I am no, he didn't say I am no Jedi, but there is
No, they called him a Jedi, and he was like, "Shut up."
Did they? I thought they just said your
No, not
your
specifically,
old
but
ancient
your
religion.
dedication to the ancient religion. Yeah.
I thought there was a line where they say it's Sith, they're Dark Jedi in the first level. I just know that after a certain point, Dark Jedi stopped being publicized. Because KOTOR came out before the prequels.
The problem is that the term just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I told Krista this. Diametrically opposed to the term. The adjective
It's
opposed.
It's like saying I'm a carnivorous vegetarian. And you're like, so then you're not a vegetarian. You know?
Yep. Frankenstein's monster is dead. How do I call in? The link is pinned in the chat. You can go to dyadintheforce.com/call. Camera is not required. You can just call in. We'll transfer you into the room. You can speak your piece. If you want to be toxic, you can speak your piece and then be kicked.
But it's equal opportunity. Krista, you're free to join as well.
Yes.
Cal, Malik, you're probably working right now. But I will say there were some concepts of Dark Jedi that I really liked, specifically Set Hart. I know I've spoken about him a few times on the channel, but he was a character in the Bane trilogy where he was someone that was formerly a Jedi and someone whose job it was to hunt ancient like Sith artifacts. Something that we've seen kind of come back as an idea in Rise of the Red Blade. And he started feeling the power from these ancient artifacts and wanted to take them for himself. And so he ended up leaving the Jedi Order, but not like telling them I'm leaving. He just disappeared. He dropped off their radar and sold stuff on the black market, got rich, had a big house, and would just... I mean, he was just an F-boy. It was really what it was. Who would just go around every now and then and look and try to find artifacts. He was potentially a candidate to be the next Sith apprentice for whoever survived the duel between Xana and Darth Bane. But you'll have to read that book in order to see where it ends. They end up with 3 potential candidates.
So this is how it ends. I'm just kidding. Crystal also said they had a man baby say that Pong Krell was one. So if we're being super technical, Pong Krell was a Jedi that fell. That's basically it. I don't know why we need like terms for it. Like Anakin, as soon as he betrayed Mace Windu, Palpatine literally named him Darth Vader. And he became a Sith.
Yeah.
So like there was like what, possibly 2 minutes of him possibly being dark and a Jedi at the same time. But there's this constant need for humans to try to label things, and no, I mean, as soon as Pong Krell betrayed the Republic, ostensibly he is no longer a Jedi.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing with it's interesting because the Jedi is a job, right? But it's also a calling and it's a belief system. And so it kind of can get confusing because someone like Pong Krell was still officially a Jedi while doing some pretty sinister crap, you know what I mean? So like, in all honesty, though, when he started doing that, when his beliefs switched, he was no longer a Jedi, even if no one else knew that he no longer believed in the cause of the Jedi. You know?
Mm-hmm. I think that largely happened with Prosit Dibs as well.
Yeah. Well, Prosit Dibs had a come to Jesus moment for sure. And after that, he lingered around like a bad fart. Yeah. So Prosit Dibs voiced his complaints. as punishment instead of killing him. But they made him go work in the library. They need to stop punishing people by making them go work in the library. I feel like all Inquisitors we know about have some sort of library-related trauma.
I feel like that's like the Jedi's mercy, though. You know.
Yeah.
However flawed it is their mercy to not punish them like martially.
It's a little like Batman just keeps locking up like the Joker, and they're like, "Yeah, can you put him down, please?"
Yeah. Let's see here. Another example. Well, I also like to fall back on just how do people identify themselves. It's the same thing with Ahsoka saying at that point, I am no Jedi. And in current times, we don't know, but she doesn't refuse it either, you know? It's like Boba Fett. Everyone wants him to be a Mandalorian, but he himself does not identify as Mandalorian. Neither did Jango. You know? So, like, I kind of feel like in Star Wars, if they identify themselves as something, that's what they are. At least to them. I know some people want to be Sith, like Inquisitors, but they're not Sith. Kylo never really declared, but at the same time, if you have betrayed the Jedi Order, even if like the Order doesn't know about it, you're kind of just like on the outs at that point. Spiritually, philosophically, idealistically. I thought Dave Filoni has said Ahsoka is a new Jedi, which confused me. They still called her that in the trailer, but maybe they leads into the new Jedi Order era with the new movie. Yeah, so a lot of it has to do with the ambiguity of how she identifies now. Like, you know, this I am no Jedi was largely in that moment.
That moment, it was a retort to this Sith Lord who she believed killed her master. Because at that point, she really couldn't come to terms with that actually being Anakin. And so, yeah, he tells her revenge is not the Jedi way. Because she's like, I'm going to get revenge for the death of my master. And he says, revenge is not the Jedi way. So she says, I'm no Jedi. And I still maintain that a lot of people took that and have had their own personal run-ins with like organized religion and having them step away from being part of it. And they took that as a personal calling. But I don't think that was ever Ahsoka's meaning behind it. And ever since that moment, she has been referred to as a Jedi many times. In The Mandalorian, they're looking for a Jedi. He was asked to train Grogu. They called her the Jedi. That episode was called The Jedi. They call her a Jedi in the trailer a bunch of times. Now, I've never heard anyone calling her a new Jedi, because also she wouldn't be a new Jedi. But, you know, we are looking towards having a new Jedi join the ranks in the show. Maybe, so I'm not sure exactly what you're referencing, but could very well be talking about Sabine.
Yeah. I have a topic. Not sure if you're still not talking about the series, but Ahsoka talking about doing things that would be considered against Jedi protocol. Mind probing is that dark side power. So this is not something that is inherently.
Yeah, we can talk about it without being in the show for sure.
So, you know, where I land on if a power is dark side or not largely hinges on the motivations of it. Like, it goes back to Empire Strikes Back when Luke says, how am I to know good from the bad? And Yoda says, You will know. When you're calm, at peace, passive. When Luke pacifies the guards in Jabba's palace, he's not really intending to harm them. He just wants to, pacify them and I guess put them to sleep, because we know from other shows that they survived. So it largely comes down to motivations for me, if they are motivated and also charged by dark side emotions. We know that from the High Republic that mind tricks and mind powers were something that were frowned upon, but not necessarily dark side. It's because, like, probing someone's mind or being suggestive or persuasive in the mind was something that is not aligned with Jedi values, but they are also are not dark side in nature.
Yeah, I mean, a great example, like you said, you brought the High Republic. There's a period of time where they're probing people for information, and they're only using the Force to figure out if they're lying or telling the truth or holding something back, and that's what they sense. Mm-hmm. They're holding something back, but they don't press any further because those people, there's nothing wrong with them having their secrets. And so, like, they felt it would have been an invasion of privacy to force them to reveal secrets. And they're right, it's the good thing to do. Now, Ahsoka going deeper, I mean, part of it becomes inflicting cruelty on people to get information. And the question is, do the ends justify the means? And I think that's something we're going to really find out, if the failure of the Jedi was because they weren't willing to take harsh enough steps, but then also finding out that taking harsh steps can sometimes create the bad thing, and it's not worth it overall. And I absolutely think that Luke did use the dark side in Return of the Jedi, but not in Jabba's palace. That was at the end when he was wailing on Vader, and it was his motivation, right? It wasn't until he was finally able to let go of that emotion that he could see what was the situation clearly.
Yep. Well, we don't have to. That doesn't fall on a. Well, it could fall under opinion if we look at it as from an unreliable narrator standpoint, but in the canon book for Return of the Jedi, he literally says Luke is tapping into the dark side, like, explicitly. So he does wail on Vader. He's tapping into the dark side at that point. But in Jabba's palace, I don't think so either.
Yeah, so I think it's better to look at it, because I think it's really easy to look at the Force as a superpower, especially with all the Marvel and comic book stuff that's really popular. But look at it more as not good versus bad, but selfish versus selfless. If your motivation is selfless, then the action, right or wrong, because sometimes you can do the right things and it still ends up in a bad consequence, it's still largely in service to the light. Versus if you are doing something selfish, then you are actively working against it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a little bit more nuance there. I think Luke was largely acting selflessly by attacking Vader there, but that act was also charged with fear and anger. So it's like we always say with the Star Wars fandom, there's a bit more nuance. So we can't just like chalk everything down to like the black and white, right? So he's definitely charged with dark side emotions. His motivation is to protect Leia. So, but that also goes with the nuance of Anakin, right? I mean, a lot of people, even Dooku, a lot of people have righteous motivations and intentions. Dooku wants to eliminate the corruption of the Republic. Goes about it charged with dark side emotions and just makes all the wrong decisions. Iskatakaris, a lot of people with great motivating factors, but charged with all the wrong external factors. Or
no, Krista,
factors.
this is fine. We're talking, and there's less stuff that we're talking about, so this is always helpful to give, like, we always love commenting on whatever you guys got.
Yeah. Kenny says it's the intent of the user if it's light or dark. That's largely true. Putting it in more superhero stuff, it's the Killmonger effect. Yeah, I mean, it ultimately comes down to their decision on how they want to handle things. I think Killmonger relatively had justification for his feelings.
He had justification for his feelings, but his end result, the thing that he was looking for, was domination and power.
Yeah.
Ultimately, and that's dark stuff. Even if you think you have light motivations, and the way we know that is at the very beginning, when he straight up kills his girlfriend. Like, he didn't care. And that, yeah.
But it also, I mean, like, with Iskatakaris, we, just speaking non-spoilery. Well, spoiler alert, she's an Inquisitor, if you didn't know from the cover of the book. A lot of her feelings are very valid. It's it's stuff that she's feeling, right? And motivated by ill intent of external factors and manipulation, and sometimes her manipulating herself. You can come to the darkest of conclusions and make the wrong decisions. As Choco said, though, we welcome all subjects, on Dyad and the Force. We do have an on-rails topic called All About Vader. We're talking about the Vader comics, but as is the case, this is a free-form conversational show, and so, like, if you call in, if you have something to talk about, we can definitely talk about it. Anything in the chat, if you guys want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. Malik, we're talking about the difference between light actions and dark actions, and what is the factors that determine such. But aside from any other new topics that's being introduced, the Vader comics, I just want to say it's good to see Anakin trying to find a replacement for Padme.
Damn.
I'm trying to be harsh with it, but I mean,
thank you, Krista. I appreciate you.
You can see it in these comics.
Well, I mean, yeah, that was his first reaction to visiting Padme's, like, tomb, and then seeing her there, not realizing that he was actually looking at Sabe.
Well, yeah, but like, you get later on into the issues, and we have a caller. Hello?
Oh, hi. Oh my god. Much noise came in at once. Hi.
Yes, that is the show.
I don't know if my
Wait.
I don't know if my
is this
connection's
the
gonna be
Malik,
great.
the host of It's a Podcast?
That's actually on hiatus right now, so thanks for bringing that up, but I have to deal with that. Yeah, no.
Cool.
It's a podcast. That's my thing, yeah. Hi. I figured I'd come in, say hi. My connection's probably going to be awful in here. It's always bad when I'm on your guys' show. I don't know what that says about me, but hi, everyone.
It's mostly... you're still on a Chromebook, right?
Yeah. Shut up. Don't you have to out me that?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm not saying bad things about Chromebooks. Chromebooks enable a lot of people to, have access to information. But
True.
they aren't necessarily equipped with the greatest CPUs or the GPUs, so it's going to be tough to handle this kind of stuff. You'd probably have better results with your phone.
Now, that being said, I have to ask you a very important question, Mr. Malik. How do you feel about pineapple on pizza?
Hate it. Horrible. An offense before like whatever deity you worship. It shouldn't happen.
Okay.
Horrible. No.
Never mind. No one's asking you. Shut up.
Choco asked you. I'm on the halfway boat. You know, there are certain situations where pineapple works, but I would not put pineapple just on a pizza, just straight up.
Can I just say, if any Star Wars character would love pineapple on pizza, it would be Pong Krell, Orson Krennic. I'm trying to think of like the worst ones. Count Dooku. Everyone who's like awful.
I mean, Hayden Christensen
on
does enjoy pineapple on pizza, and
oh wow, the biggest villain,
and convinced Ewan McGregor to give it a shot. Actually,
horrible.
His favorite pizza is the same as mine, which is crazy.
I once had like a pizza called like the Chicago Meat Market, and it like ruined me. I couldn't take it. It was horrible.
I'm sorry. That sounds.
It tasted fine, but then I'm like, oh no, like, I shouldn't have had this.
You said okay.
Strangely, this topic is on topic because we're talking about Anakin.
You saying that made me think of the concept of the soup kitchen, but. That's
Soup
okay.
kitchen.
So
we will have sex in your car again. We will do that. That's a reference to a movie, guys.
Yeah.
Should I have not said that?
So Krista said like a nice Hawaiian pizza. So that is one of the exceptions that I will have it on. So for me, it has to be a white sauce. It has to be like ham or chicken and then pineapple, which is basically not a pizza at that point, but that is the toppings that I would get it on. But I would never get pineapple alone on a red sauce like with mozzarella.
Doesn't. Also, is Dave in this chat? Because he's like bullying me in like our DMs.
Maybe he might be hanging out in the back. I see Conspiracy Cantina is in here as well. How you doing?
Yo, buddy? Conspiracy Cantina, when? We miss you guys.
Yeah.
But
also,
yeah, there's a large point last week on it, so we don't have to harp on the pineapple pizza. I'm gonna continue loving it. Although I do agree, it's not a topping you just toss in there. You have to build around it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Y'all
have tempted to hop on just to say y'all are wrong and then hop off. Do it.
I will die on this hill.
I will say this for Malik, for you, Malik. We asked Cal what his favorite pizza was, and basically he likes when they make a Philly cheesesteak on a pizza. I'm curious if you're into that or if that's also blasphemy.
If it's made in Philly, I'll try it. If it's like actually made here in my city, I will eat it. I will like give it a shot. But like, also, it just sounds like a try hard thing to me. It sounds like a try hard pizza.
Wait, Kenny, you saying that Alfredo is it's traditional to pizza? Not according to Napolitano. Napolitano is the Marzano sauce and just blots of mozzarella.
We'll Star Wars talk here for a bit.
We talk about anything.
Yeah.
From a certain point of view, has anyone read like Solid Ahmed's story, The Rancor Tamer?
Not yet.
I've read very little of it so far.
I love it. It's so Solid Ahmed was already one of my favorite writers, but once again, he like I'm like, well, I'm curious if he knows who I am because he picked the character name Malik Keeley. I'm like, that's very similar to my name, and I like love all of his work.
It wouldn't surprise us.
Now, I very much enjoyed my Dexter Jetster story because he's still
that was good.
He's lost some faith, but like he starts to get it back, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to have Adam Lance Garcia on here for like an interview, and because I want to see what his thought process was. You know,
For me, it was just like that one. Are we good to talk about what happens in the chapters? We're trying to avoid like spoiler talk like that.
More direct spoilers than anything. Like, you can talk ambiguously about what happened.
yeah.
I think like one thing that got me reading that chapter was him like thinking like, man, if I hadn't identified that dart, none of this would have happened. And I'm like, damn. Like, yeah, he's like,
Yeah. Also, for anyone who's read the book Padawan by Kirsten White, he also thinks like, I mean, he wonders because he met Obi-Wan so long ago, like when Obi-Wan was a Padawan, and is his relationship with Obi-Wan what ultimately led to Obi-Wan's death? Does he bear some responsibility in that? Like, I don't know, it hurts. Do we know what happened to Dexter? We don't know his fate, but we do know he was around and kicking past Return of the Jedi. So that's good news.
Isn't it like insane to think that Dexter Jetster was at like the Battle of Jakku at the High Republic and then just lived all the way past OG trilogy? Like, oh my god.
I mean, you know, quite a few people. Like Maz Kanata is 1,000 years old. Maz Kanata was
Crazy.
ancient during the High Republic. Maz Kanata was older in the High Republic than Yoda gets to be.
Is it like Maz Kanata the same species as Ochi of Bastoon?
You would think so, right? With the eyes, but no.
I mean,
Yeah, they're not? Okay.
I never even thought about that, but now I'm like, they're both kind of scrotum-ish. I can see it.
The ball sack species of Star Wars.
I mean, now that you mention it, there's two candidates for who Ochi reminds me of, and that's Malik and Marvelous Johnny.
What the what? Wait a minute.
Do you read the comics? The Vader comics?
I know what Ochi has done, and I immediately thought of like one scene. And I'm like, okay, maybe that is me. And that's when like he's like, all right, I need answers, and he shoots the one guy. He's like, you said you wanted answers. I didn't say it was gonna be a colloquial thing. All right, like I'm like, all right, that's me probably right there.
Well, there's a whole bunch of like in like later on in like issues 25 to 35 where Ochi is at odds with Sabe. And literally, like, everything he says is just, like, sentences that I think Malik would say.
Yeah.
Listen,
I think
we're working together only because I want to get rid of this bitch, you know?
I will say, if there's one thing that, like, you know what? If I was in the Star Wars universe, I would die riding my speeder bike into a sand dune and then, like, drowning. Because, like, I didn't know.
I mean, realistically, none of us would survive in that universe long. As we are, we would
survive, but like we're all like mundane. Like we're like the cashier at the shitty retail store on Coruscant, or like the Rancor shit shoveler. Like that's who we all are in the Star Wars universe, all right? We're not gonna be bounty hunters or smugglers. We're just the people.
Although Ram gives me confidence that I could be a Jedi. You know, I'm just a Jedi that loves computers.
Yeah,
I think that might be a good topic for maybe next week or something, where we can all make up our stories of who we would be if we were in the Star Wars universe.
That's a great idea.
Basically, who we would be and who we would like to be, because those are probably not the same thing.
Would we do it like different eras? Like, who are you in the High Republic? Who are you in the prequel? Who are you in the originals? Like, have to like flesh it out.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's not gonna be hard fast rules on it. It's it's however you choose to express yourself.
I'm like General Grievous's. I'm General Grievous's like best friend because he's so fucking cool in the prequel era. I'm like. I'm like helping him out, General Grievous.
Where are you during
I'm that little robot that like fixes him up in his like lair. I'm that guy, and I'm like, oh, Grievous, you're so cool.
There you go.
I'm Big Sis's footstool.
No.
And
Well, in that case,
as Dyad would have it, I would be Domina's footstool.
I'm literally I am the wall that Phasma glares at when she's angry.
Dang.
Boom.
Krista says, I want to be Plo Koon's Padawan, but in a universe where he doesn't kill us. I actually heard back. So another person on TikTok, Ted the Toy Collector, had a contest, a trivia contest. I ended up winning, and the prize was this really kick-ass Plo Koon statue. And I gave him my address and all this stuff, and it never came. And I reached out to him once and then twice. He was like, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm gonna send it. Oh, I'm busy. I'm gonna send it." And I've been in the position before, and I was just like, "Okay, I guess he's just not gonna send it."
I need to see.
I still have to send
today.
I still have to send Dave his Mandalorian mask.
I need to
hit me
see
up today and say he sent it, but it got sent back to his mom. Like he sent it from his mom's house. It got sent back, and his mom never told him until today. So
I need to see the alternate universe where like Dave Filoni actually did pull the trigger and make the one who saved Grogu on that ship Plo Koon and not Luke Skywalker, just to see like the feral creature that Choco would have become, to see like Plo Koon on the Mandalorian.
You have no idea how much I love that artwork of Plo Koon. Like
it's sick as hell.
We'd see some hyperventilation happening.
My wife is just mad because she's like, "How come on your phone you don't have pictures of us?" I'm like, "It's Plo Koon though."
I had the same problem with like my exes. I had put like Rhea Ripley as my phone lock screen one time, and they were like, "Huh, you put a wrestler as your man?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Listen, I can't guarantee.
Krista, I think best friends. You know, Misa thinking we saw being friends.
Friends bad, bomb bad friends. I can't guarantee that our reaction to Quinlan Voss showing up in live action is going to be a quiet one.
It's not going to be live action. It's going to be the third Jedi game. Watch, the third Jedi game. That's where Quinlan's going to show up. Ain't no way Cal ain't meeting him now after how Jedi Survivor ends. Ain't no way.
I mean, but we have the path in Kenobi. It's not just a game thing. We have Reva's story. Imagine Reva happens upon Quinlan.
For me, it just makes more sense for Cal to do it, you know?
If there's a lost tribe of the Jedi,
it makes more sense for Kenobi.
I mean, Kira had a whole final moment in her, and then the thing ended up in a comic book, so, you know.
Connor, thanks for that. Hope you're feel better.
I would love if Ventress came back, but you know, Dark Disciple is literally perfect. So I would love to see more Ventress, but like I don't know, like I don't want them to touch Dark Disciple at all though, because that's to me like the perfect ending for her character.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine. The book's been out for ages.
I like to say that though.
It's
because I think like a couple of months ago we were talking about Dark Disciple, and someone was like, "What?" So,
one of the kinkiest Star Wars books out there.
I mean, it's no Jedi Battle Scars, but it's up there.
Battle Scars, yeah. I said one of Battle Scars took the throne of like Sam Maggs. She put it in. I'm sorry, they. I'm not sure if they use they, them, or she, but like they did it with that one. I was reading this like, whoa.
There's some
gotcha.
Steamy bits.
I
hate that I said that. I'm sorry.
I do want to shout out Connor for being a member for 26 months.
26 months. We appreciate you, Connor. He's been rocking with us for a long time, and it's been really cool.
I think Choco's losing it. Yeah, we lost Choco.
Yeah, Choco's gone full Ultron.
I have no strings on me.
I was gonna ask him to say that and do a little dance with it too.
Connor says, "Hope the podcast pods plenty of pods." Okay, yeah, we shall.
Oh my
we
god. Is this it? Am I the new Dyad in the Force? Am I the replacement? Is this just us two now?
Where did Choco?
How quickly I swoop in on Choco's corpse like a vulture.
Am I back?
Oh wait, yeah. I hear you.
It was quite irritating because for me, I never left. I could always see you guys and hear you talking. You're like, no, just because there's another black guy does not make him the replacement.
It's like the ratio is off. You'll begin to scare people. It's too many on screen at one time.
If we're talking about, you know, status quo for our Rush Hour 2 dynamic, it's an ample replacement.
It could work.
Just as if Young were to jump in and replace me, it's still Rush Hour 2.
It's still Rush. I love that you guys have just like made that movie like a staple of like the identity of your friendship.
Listen, I didn't make that a staple of anything. It just was. It always was. Ever since it existed, it was part of me.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I only ever saw the. Sorry, good.
Even when we were just kind of like becoming friends, Choco and I, like one of the first things that we would do is just blast out quotes from Rush Hour 2. And then it just became a thing. What are you doing?
Yeah, now it's a bit.
I mean, how cheap? Cheap as hell.
I think at one point during our early days on Dyad, I was like, act like a tourist.
What was that one scene where it's like they have an argument, but then they like make up, and like he goes to like a Chinese place and watches like a clip of Short Round, and then and then Jackie Chan orders fried chicken, and like watches that. I'm like, bro, who wrote that?
What? I don't remember
that.
It was like in Rush Hour 3. They like have an argument, but then like they remind them of each other, and like he sees like Short Round, I think, on the TV and orders Chinese food. Chris Tucker's character, and I'm like, bro.
Unfortunately, Rush Hour 3 is one of the ones that I don't remember.
Yeah, I've only seen it twice, and one of them was recently, and it was like, that movie does not hold up. It does not play well today.
No, it does not. Isn't that the same director for like one of the X-Men movies?
That would
Shane
not
Black,
surprise me. Oh, it is Shane Black? Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, Kenny?
Although their Who's on First bit still kills me.
What's up?
It's a car!
What opinion do you have for us today, and how wrong are you? I'm just kidding.
Just 15-ish. We're not going that dirty. I know we were just talking about Dark Disciple and Battle Scars, but we're not doing that.
We can if you want. I mean,
no, because I still want them. I still want them to retcon Dark Disciple. Like I still want that retcon.
You know
I have a hot take.
I
have a hot.
Oh, go ahead.
I like Marin and Fret better than Cal and Marin.
Well, okay.
Well, one is.
I'd actually have to agree with that hot take.
Go ahead.
Like they're better. I don't know. Star.
I just think so. Like so one is like. I mean, I'll say it like. This is the exact kill, marry, and fuck of that universe. It's like fuck her and then marry Cal, right? Because it's like a stable thing, right? And it's good for her emotions. Who does Marin kill at that point? Then Grease.
Well, I mean, obviously Sarah.
I'm a look.
What did you have to say, Choco?
We have kind of derailed. Well, what I was going to say is this, though. I think there's a lot of really interesting stories that we don't have of Ventress being a bounty hunter and living in that world and embracing that universe. And I would love to go back to those days, personally.
And not only that, like, imagine what she could have been like if she survived the war. Would she be part of, like, say, Kira's group with Black Sun or Crimson Dawn? Let me take that back. Sorry. Or would she be with Boba, with the Hutt clan? Like, there are so many great opportunities that were missed because we left that character out. Now, keep this in mind.
Here's my hot take on that. I feel like a lot of what you're describing, of what you would have wanted to see from her later, is what I want to see from Barriss.
That's actually a valid point. I would love to see that too. What was she like after the war, after Order 66? Did she become an Inquisitor? Did she go off on her own? Was she something else entirely?
She found her long-lost twin sister, Exostress.
Exostress. That's a name. That's honestly about as much effort as like.
Oh my god.
That's about as much effort as like some of the names in Star Wars.
And
You
their
have
dad,
Droopy
Portress.
McCool, you know.
In Littress.
I think on the topic of Star Wars books, we are now 1 month away from Eye of the Storm. Is it called Eye of Darkness with that cover?
Yeah.
We also have Crimson Clan coming.
Crimson Clan is
cool.
coming, and
It looks
for Kira.
fine. I'm excited for it, but like there's a Markion Row book coming.
Malik,
I
I feel like your tell has something to do with octaves of voice.
I have been told that several times. That like,
Because you're like,
I've been told I have two tells. Like
have,
my
like-
voice goes higher, and I look up sometimes.
yeah, because we were like Crimson Climb, and you're like, so you went from we have Eye of the Storm,
wait.
and then I said Crimson Climb's like Crimson Climb. Yeah.
More Kira.
I'm excited to read Crimson.
More Kira.
I'm excited to read Crimson Climb, but like it's like tunnel vision right now to Eye of Darkness.
Even just the pose and stuff. I don't know. She's got attitude, and I like it.
She deserves a
Prediction.
step stool too.
Prediction for the next game.
It's true.
Steps.
For the next Star Wars game that comes out here, Outlaws. I so want her to be like one of the people that you work with. Not just the Hutts, but like Crimson Dawn or the Pikes. Like, literally just a central figure.
What's the timeline in? All throughout the original trilogy, or is it in between two movies?
It's after Empire, I believe.
It's after Empire, before Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm kind of banking on, because you're gonna have dealings with all these different factions, and behind the scenes, Kira's involved with all of them. So I think that would be a great way of letting you choose your own path, yet having an actual golden path in the story. Because no matter what faction you're part of, that Kira is what lays beyond them.
Can I also say I'm
what lays beyond Kira.
Afra, Dr. Afra.
I want an Afra show.
That could also work.
It's just not possible to have like a small little portion of Afra. You can take that however you want. I want all of Afra
none of us,
in a TV show, long engagement.
One of my favorite moments is in the comics is after Luke meets her for the first time, and he goes back and he's telling like Leia and them like, oh, I met this girl Afra, like she's kind of cute and stuff, and they're like, I don't think I don't think it's gonna work.
That was I actually like. I
haven't-
remember I was running. I'm sorry, guys.
No, go ahead.
I was running a Star Wars D&D session like a while ago, and pretty much like it was supposed to be a one-shot, but the concept I had was like you have to escape a Star Destroyer, and like the group was like in a cell, and there were two people on either side of them, Hondo, Naka, and Afra, and they each had a plan to like escape the Star Destroyer. You had to choose who you wanted to go with, and you know, which horrible planner liar do you go with, Hondo or Afra? And one of my players tried to hit on Afra, and I had her go, man, if you were a chick, I'd be so into you.
Afra's not horrible.
Well, at that point, it's she like where I had in the timeline. Yeah, she was kind of horrible.
Now, Krista says, I want none because I'm exhausted of all the complaining from everyone when it comes to live action and or canon. I get that. I get that feeling, but
we can't stop.
who cares? Who cares about them? You know what I mean? We're just gonna love what we love and move forward. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We just
No,
can't stop. All roads lead to live action at this point.
My favorite interaction so far with Kira is when Leia was talking to Han in Princess and the Scoundrel, telling him that she met his old girlfriend. And I'm just imagining Han's face is like, "You what? You met Kira? Huh? What? How long was I out?"
She met Sana as well.
That was a great moment.
I always love the theory that like while Han's in the carbonite, he's like having a dream of like all the Indiana Jones movies, and like he's just imagining he's Indiana Jones.
He goes to Luthen's shop. He's like, I found these crystals. And Luthen's like, why are you here delivering crystals? I have a
Like,
Sky
oh,
Kyber for you.
God.
Cassian Ender. Let's bring that back.
Okay. Oh my god, we're getting an Indiana Jones game from Bethesda as well. Okay, that's on the topic of Lucasfilm, I guess, but yeah, I can't wait for that.
I mean, it makes sense
That was
because
my topic.
Harrison Ford doesn't even mouth his words, so it'll be okay for Bethesda.
Could
The
you
most recent
imagine they
Indiana Jones, young Indiana Jones was a video game character, so
he looked fun in certain spots. Other spots, I'm like, that's a PS2 character right there. When they have like when they're like
on how
have him like
dark it
hanging in the
was.
roof. Yeah, like I'm like that's weird looking. Oh my god. I also love Luthen. He's also a great character that's very fascinating to me. You are same.
I mean, Luthen's speech alone was just chills. You know what I mean?
Are you kidding me? I still replay that scene between him and Saw in their first meeting.
Oh yeah.
It is
thought you were gonna
just
say his speech.
so raw energy between both actors, between both characters. It was just, oh god, I want these two more interactions with each other. Like, this would be solid acting.
One of the
Now-
funniest moments in Star Wars history. It's my guy Tubes here. He's my inside man. And Tubes is like, what the fuck?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my god. I don't care
You
if
know,
I hope Saw Gerrera's in everything. I don't care if you hate Saw Gerrera, I hate you.
I want him in more stuff just to irritate people. No,
Exactly.
the thing that is I find endlessly fascinating though is how much hate like Saw will get versus the amount of love someone like Anakin gets when they're like, well, he was just evil because he did this, and you're like, but like Vader, like it's different. Like, why? I don't know. I think it's just very fascinating.
Also, open invitation.
Well, the hate's now thanks to tech.
We're playing a drinking game tonight. 8 o'clock Pacific. If you want to join in,
Hey,
Krista, if you
uh,
also want to
what's the
join in on
drinking
that
game?
one too, you can drop your Discord in the chat.
How old is Krista? Krista's old enough to drink, right? Okay. I was like,
Yeah, well, yeah, you should probably check that before you make these invites.
I don't make it a habit to ask people how old they are. At least
This
not.
is-
I mean,
This is true.
well, like you should know that before you go yeah, okay.
Well, I will say, hey, we're playing a drinking game, and then they'll say, oh, I can't drink. So, you know, everybody
also-
is their own arbiter,
yeah.
as it were.
I also love Krista brings up Saw's speech in Mon Mothma about her pacifism, and when she gets mad and like fires back at him, he's like, "Yes, that's the passion I wanted to see," and then you're like, "You dick." But like, yeah,
One of the best characters,
not
one
wrong.
of the best moments. Like
I want like a bottle episode of something where it's Luthen, Saw, and Mon Mothma, and they have to and they're trapped together. They have to like work together to get out of something. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would just be incredible because all three of them want the same thing. All three of them very
with
not
with
in
Mon's
agreement
freaking like bottled up aggression of all of the BS she's had to take. I could only imagine the shit that she would sling at both Saw and Luthen. I can only imagine.
My favorite line is like, we're both rebels. I'm the only one who just knows it about himself. I'm like, oh, tell her.
And at the end of that bottle episode, they all agree on who is the best person to do the job. And, Luthen
and they're
goes,
like the white lady.
no, Luthen's like, Cassian. And then Saw's like, Cassian Ando. And then Mon Mothma's like, Cassian Ando.
Speaking of which, a mutual friend of ours got me this cool little sticker from this like punk rock like alt shop near in town, and it's got Rey, Ahsoka, and Leia and Maz Kanata, and Leia is flipping off everyone on it as well. It's great.
That is
That
cool.
sick.
That is the most Carrie Fisher thing I've ever seen in my life.
It says something in Aurebesh, but I can't read Aurebesh. I'm not a nerd, so like, I am a nerd. I can't read. I don't know how to read Aurebesh. It says something at the bottom in Aurebesh, but I don't know what it says.
I'm sorry. Is Muscanata wearing a
Hold it to
hat
the
in
camera.
there? Because she, I could. It was a little blurry, and she was looking a little like Dennis Rodman.
Or send a picture. Send a picture of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send the pictures. I can't. That's not gonna be a good camera angle thing.
So Krista's 31. Fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Can
bust
drink.
out the Four Loco. I'm gonna bust out the Four Loco, boys.
But we're
Get
doing.
that. I'm getting me a margarita. Shout out to, Jimmy. He passed.
Jimmy? Just some regular random ass Jimmy.
Jimmy Buffett.
Love it.
He just like in a future episode of Dyad, Kenny calls in. He's like, "Shout out to random ass Jimmy."
This morning, I caught up on My Adventures with Superman, and so when you say Jimmy, like. That's all I was thinking of. I was like, wait, who else is Jimmy? And then I was like, wait, does it mean like Jose? For Jose
Sloppy
Cuervo?
Jose.
Can I just wait, Chico, isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy how they did the Sinister Six better than, I'm gonna flat out say it, they did the Sinister Six better than No Way Home. I don't care. That was sick as hell.
I mean, yeah, No Way Home didn't have six, and not all people had something to do or a reason to be. So, indeed.
Also, like, kaiju parasite is like massive.
Question-
So I will say this to Krista in the chat, because it seems like you do want to talk Ahsoka. We're not going to do it live here. If you do join us later, you know, it's an offline thing. We can get into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I so want to talk about Ahsoka. So want to talk about it.
Pay
And
your
freaking
writers,
Zio, no,
Hollywood
he's
people
not
who
the
are
one
watching this.
playing both sides.
If you want to send a Discord handle to TikTok DM Instead of leaving it in the chat, we can invite you, and then you can hang out in the Discord server. That's where most of our discussions lie, simply because it is amongst friends and we're not, talking about it in public. But yeah, we are down to talk about Ahsoka within those walls.
I finally figured out my topic that Element asked me. The gaming strike. The possible gaming strike. Are we talking about it?
It's not happening right now.
So
No, not right now, but I'm just saying, like in the future, like here a few weeks.
So the odd
Krista,
part,
you have no excuse. I'm 38. I know what Discord is, but if you want, you can go to discord.gg and look it up. It's an app that people use to join servers with a whole bunch of other people. We have a server that you could join. Everybody's in it, and then we could join voice chats like this one right here, except it'll be private. And then we all hang out there and we all talk about stuff amongst friends that we can't talk about in public.
Element, you're 38?
Oh yeah.
He just had a birthday.
Adult. That's a whole taxpayer right there. Wow.
I'd argue you could be a taxpayer at 16, but depends on what you do.
You look great. You look great.
Thank you. Asian dough raisin.
Asian? Wait, what? I've never heard that one before. What?
You've never heard Asian dough raisin?
No.
I mean, Pep and I had a conversation about this last night. Never mind.
No.
I'm just saying there's a point of acceleration, I think.
Oh yeah. It doesn't last. The Asian cutoff is 80. You look good until you are 50, then you look relatively good, and then when you hit 80, you become the grandma. You actually shrink.
Didn't Family Guy make this like? Didn't Family Guy make this like exact same joke on an episode?
I haven't watched Family Guy in years, so I don't know. But no, I asked. It was like, I've noticed that a lot of the older Filipino people look like this, and the younger ones look like this, and I've never seen an in between. So is there like a day? Is it like a week? Like where's the point of acceleration?
Yeah, you literally look the same for freaking ever, and then at some point, Filipino Jesus is like, I take away your youth.
You chose poorly.
I mean, Young's probably. I mean, Young's gonna look good until 80 as well, I believe. Probably even longer. I don't know the threshold for Chinese genes, but Filipinos for sure look good until 80.
Her name is Forever Young, so I believe it.
It's
Another
Youngling.
thing. Also, another thing, I picked up actually the game of nerdy corrections today, and I'm so excited to try it out one of these days. I don't know if I could show this. Is this like a copyright thing? It's a board game. I don't know, but yeah,
it's not a struck company. So there's other things. We've actually been talking about if we might want to do some reactions to Doctor Who, because he's a Whovian. I've seen 3 episodes. I would like to like it, so I like the idea of it. But yeah, you can always mix it up, so that's not an issue. What I was going to say earlier though is in regards to video game strikes, we're going to need to see if they take shape, and B, how they take shape, because it's not going to be every game studio that would be under this. It's going to be likely the ones where they're using the character's likeness. And then the other part is, we actually work, have been doing some work with Ubisoft, so I don't know where exactly that puts Me, in regards to if there is a strike?
Yeah, I made a TikTok earlier. It's one of my longer
subscribed
ones.
to the Dyad.
Hey, Michael Boone,
Ooh,
thanks for
yay.
subscribing. We appreciate you.
Congrats, welcome to the team.
Appreciated.
Feel free to
But
call
yeah,
in
I
on
made
too. We're all hanging out.
I made a 5-minute TikTok showing what companies are looked at as possible struck companies and what could be possible later down the line. Hi, Cal.
Okay, but then like the question comes: if I'm working with, for the new Star Wars game coming up, but the contacts I'm talking with are massive. But that is through EA. Like I don't, there's a lot of moving parts, and I think I'll
Yeah,
wait till I get
there's
some
a lot.
guidelines
I'm
from-
not going to lie to you, Choco. That's all valid stuff. What you're just saying. I'm just saying we as a community, we as gamers ourselves, need to look forward to maybe adding more prospects, like indie games, for example.
Yeah.
Like expanding out to different game companies that are not considered AAA.
Yeah.
Like
I just
Larian
know-
Studios and Baldur's Gate 3.
I just know that the largest hurdle right now for games in general is unionization. Because devs aren't union. The voice actors that we work with are of a different union. So I think a large part of what would be considered a game strike would be any kind of large publisher that works with actors that use their likeness. For example,
Hey.
Cameron Monaghan. Would he be able to appear in the next Jedi game if they go to strike for character actor likenesses in games? For a second, I thought Malik lost his light skin, but he's back. We have a contribution from Young. You won't be able to see it on in the call, but if you're on the stream, this is the average Asian aging process.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at this.
H120.
This is true. At least for the most part, I think different Asians. Well, certainly different Asians for Filipinos, it's up to 80, maybe 70. Who knows?
I think that would also depend too, like if they're like contract what's under contract and stuff. Oh, what? Wait, what? Oh, I think that would depend on like this like contract stuff as well.
Oh, that's Malik
But-
speaking for the lost 20 years of his life. They just,
He comes to us from the past.
I have to get back to work, guys. I'll see y'all later.
Like
have a
any,
nice one, man.
Thanks
Enjoy
for
the rest of your
joining.
day.
it's
The
under
Asian youth
contract.
is under contract. Is that why? Is that why? Who's your pact with?
Oh, jeez.
Young.
Mephistopheles.
I don't know who.
And
my
then there
pact
were
is
3.
with.
Raphael.
The turtle?
No, listen. I rejected Raphael at every turn, and then when I was forced to, I had no choice. I went to his house and be like, "Bitch, no."
The answer is still no.
Young's contract is with Beelzebub.
Sorry, that just makes me think of that. A long time ago, there was a singing comedian. He had a song called Beels, and it was all about Beelzebub. It was amazing.
Cal's pact is with
I don't have a pact.
Mistra.
No.
Who would you make a pact with if you did? Ball?
Nobody.
Merkel?
No. I find them too restrictive.
For some reason, when the first time Ketherick was like, what does he say? Something of Merkel. I was like, Angela Merkel? All right.
Meghan Markle?
I'm back.
There he is.
I immediately thought of Merkins.
No.
Okay, wait, which Merkin are we talking about here?
Oh, we're talking about Merkel from D&D. No, just saying.
Oh,
the first time I heard the name, my mind just went to Merkins.
Okay, gotcha. All right, yeah, my players just found a cult worshiping him, and they completely murdered that cult. So
there you go.
As one does.
Should we answer the quick 3 questions from Krista?
Sure. Yeah. Favorite Star Wars movie, favorite series, and most emotional Star Wars moment. Discuss.
Oh, I thought that was most emotional Star Wars moment to discuss.
who do we want to start?
I'll start with Cal.
Okay. Favorite Star Wars movies, Last Jedi. Favorite Star Wars series is Andor, followed very closely by Rebels. And then the most emotional Star Wars moment. That's a tough one to answer. Honestly, for me, it's probably going to be a weird one. It's the moment in Force Awakens when Leia gets off of the dropship and sees Han. And it just plays Leia's theme, and it's just super sad. And I mean, it's for the fan in me who grew up watching these characters, seeing them older and them recognizing each other like that was just like, I don't know, it hit me so hard. And then also with the loss of Carrie, that was just like even more hard. So I think that's probably the most emotional one for me personally.
That's good.
So hard.
I mean, I felt a lot of emotion when Bix took off her jacket, but
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Malik, there you go.
My favorite movie, The Last Jedi, without a doubt. Favorite series is Rebels. Most emotional scene for me. I think there's like 2 that I can think of right off the bat that I'm like, oh man, this is like stirring something in me. The first like number 1 for me is like when like Thane confronts Sienna on the Star Destroyer in Lost Stars, because there's this like line he has when he sees her, like this gaunt like figure of like who this girl he loved. And he's like, I think the one line that just like hit hard was like when he sees her, he just goes like, what did they do to her? And then she has this line of just like, I'm not good, so I have to die with the Empire. And like I was like, no.
Yeah,
that I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's just a great moment. I'm for it.
So good. Yeah, Lost Stars was like perfection.
Very nice. So my favorite movie has been Empire up until this point, but after Yoda issue 10, The Last Jedi is number 1, and I'm pretty sure Choco knows why if you've read issue 10. Favorite Star Wars series has to be Rebels. You know, Clone Wars is great and all, but you know, it largely kind of depends on the appeal of Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka. Whereas Rebels was able to tell a completely new story with new characters and make me fall in love with them, and that's very valuable to me because, like, you know, of course we're gonna get nostalgia bait, we're gonna get stories with our favorite characters in it. It's gonna be great, you know. Ahsoka, great show so far. Kenobi was a great show. You know, it's the shows though that I'm looking for, the ones that I'm looking forward to most are new stories. Acolyte, You know, I want an Afra show. I want a Quinlan show.
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. A lot of the shows that I'm super excited about are new stories, new characters within or without the current timelines that we are familiar with. Let's see. The most emotional Star Wars moment. That's a tough one.
I'm intrigued with what you're going to have to say on this one because I don't know if I've ever heard you answer this.
It's a tough one because I emotional stuff I don't think about too often. But they obviously have their impact. But it's always going to be for now, this might be a cop-out answer, but when Yoda passes and you learn that he's snuggling up in Qui-Gon's robes.
Aww.
That's like full circle stuff.
That's good. So for me, it is it's also The Last Jedi. I battled. I mean, it and Empire were neck and neck for a very long time. But yeah, I just love The Last Jedi. Favorite series is for me. It is a toss up between Rebels and Andor. I certainly think Andor was a better made series, but like I don't know, I have such feelings for it. And the most emotional moment is a hard one to pick because there are quite a few moments that kind of hit really hard, you know. I'm not like a crier. You're not gonna get me crying at scenes very often, but there's just certain moments like I mean, obviously, Kanan's death is probably the saddest death in all of Star Wars. But
I laugh at that because you saying you don't cry at scenes, and you know firsthand when we watched the premiere of Kenobi that I'm just like perpetually a blubbering mess.
Dude, I started tearing up the teaser. The teaser started and I heard Duel of Fates. I was like, oh my god! It's happening!
Everybody's on the couch. I'm behind it, and you just hear like just the whole time.
I'll actually say my number one most emotional moment though is in a book. It's actually a small little excerpt in the Ahsoka book. And it's Obi-Wan at Shmi's grave, and he's apologizing for losing Anakin.
Oh.
And that moment just hits really hard.
Can I throw out two honorable mentions for emotional as well? Okay.
Well, also, Krista, I actually don't have the chat up right now, but Krista, put yours in chat as well.
Oh my god. But for me, Last Jedi, of course, Luke's "No One's Ever Truly Gone" to Leia also like really hit hard in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that was amazing. There was one more that I'm now blanking on.
Close
Crap.
second. Close second. While you're thinking of that, is when Luke passed, and then you find
really
out,
good.
and then you find out in the book that there was a voice before he passed, saying "Let go." It always comes down to like moments that are enhanced by the context, the textual context.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is a big one of those for me is Rogue One. I didn't like Rogue One when I first saw it, but after all of the added, yeah, I didn't. It was my least favorite Star Wars movie. But after all of the additional material from Rebel Rising and from Catalyst and from Andor, and from me doing the High Ground podcast and talking about it with a number of people and finding out what speaks to them about these characters, and then rewatching it and seeing the movie from their eyes, it hits different at the very end when you have these people who gave everything for hope in a situation where they no longer have any. There's no hope of survival for them. But the last thing is, do you think they hurt us?
That's also that's happened to me with Attack of the Clones, because I was very like violent. I was not kind to Attack of the Clones, but I met like Alanis and Brooke, who were very passionate about it and like really loved it, and it like made me see it through like their eyes, and I ended up really enjoying Attack of the Clones a lot more than I used to. I don't just fast forward to Geonosis like I used to do like anymore. But I will say my other my other honorable mention though that I remember that I had was you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. Like, also really like messed with me a lot when I first saw that.
Yeah, speaking of scenes that make you cry, Krista said ROTJ is their favorite movie, and Clone Wars or Rebels series, and Obi-Wan and Vader's final face-off in Kenobi. That moment when Kenobi finally like realizes that my friend is truly dead, and like he Ewan starts welling up on his eyes. That made me well up too.
It's like I
think what's funny is in that moment, what was more emotional for me in that episode was when Obi-Wan was being buried in all this stuff, which is obviously holding him down. And that was just and in that moment, that was his life, him losing everyone, his feelings of guilt towards Anakin was all holding him down. And then he looked towards the future and saw hope, and then he saw light, and that was his way out. And that moment when he came out like space Jesus, that was the most emotional part for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, out of that whole fight, that's the same one for me. Is just the overwhelming crushing of everything, and then it's just that last second thought of the twins, and just immediate 180. I was like, oh my god!
Shout out
often.
Shout out to Hayden's delivery too, of like, Anakin's gone, I am what remains. I'm like I heard that, and it just like, I don't know, man, it just struck something in me. Yeah, like Anakin, like how he just goes, and like hearing Hayden's voice with like the Vader modulator really just like struck something in my core. And then hearing this like, Anakin's gone and I am what remains, I'm like, oh god.
He really did a good job when he said I did.
I also
so good.
Crazy.
Yeah, when it's like the color change and it just becomes menacing at that point.
Also, I think I talked to Malik about this in the past, but another moment that hit me hard is a moment that doesn't even happen. It was a deleted thing. But something that didn't happen in Rebels, in Twilight of the Apprentice, is asking Maul who Vader was. Who was that? And he says, that's who I was supposed to be. And he was like, oh, he got kicked to the curb so long ago, and he's just been like flailing about.
Yeah.
Also,
speaking of scenes that don't happen in Rebels, makes me wonder if that was actually her knighting moment, Ahsoka. Because off screen she meets Bendu, and before that she had never been called Jedi Knight, and Bendu said, "Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano." But that didn't happen on
Maybe.
screen, so.
Yeah.
I also like give out more sequel love too. Ben seeing Han and Rise of Skywalker also like really got something in me as well.
Yeah.
Him saying ouch.
Ouch. I think that's another like when
Anakin Skywalker.
I think that's another when like Leia passes like to reach out to Ben, and Ben like the way I've never felt that just like that look back when he hears Ben is so good as well.
Yeah. Now we're all in our feels.
Yeah,
I never leave, man. I never
Thanks,
leave.
Krista.
I actually have a Star Wars question I think would be interesting. what is something in Star Wars that you were extremely wrong about? Like an opinion or a take that you had that you look back and think, damn, I was actually hella wrong to have that thought.
I have a funny
for me,
answer to that one, but go ahead.
For me, I used to be an avid Bo-Katan hater. I used to like say Bo-Katan's the worst, and now I'm here, I'm like, damn, I was wrong about that. I was so off the mark. Damn.
It's hard to.
For me, it was the immediate reaction to Last Jedi. I remember going out of the movie, sitting down on the curb out front of the movie theater with one of my old roommates, and just being like, wow, that was like the best Star Wars that has ever released ever. The internet's gonna freaking blow up and love this. Oh my god.
We all said that.
And then the next morning, I was like, did we not see the same movie? I was like, that was amazing. I was not right about anything that was going to happen in that movie.
That's how it feels sometimes when, like, like, oh man, we did not watch the same movie, did we?
Yeah, that was really
I
funny.
direct you to my day one review on YouTube. This is the best. This is
We
the
get
best
it.
thing since Empire Strikes Back.
We get it.
man.
Pep's just never wrong, ever.
Valid.
No, I don't, because I feel like I can probably speak for Pep here, where like when we say things based off of knowledge and not, we don't just jump out there and like plant a flag in something without doing due diligence first. So it's kind of hard to like to pick. But yeah, I mean, I was wrong about the fan reaction to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For a long time, I was wrong because I theorized that Rey was the granddaughter of Palpatine, and then I ended up being right. So,
Oh yeah.
so there's
that.
that.
I was wrong about Rey Kenobi. Yeah. Although
all
nowadays it is, like Choco said, difficult for us to be wrong in a sense that most of our theory crafting is based off of the information.
Well, I mean, obviously, I was wrong about certain things. Like, I thought that what's his name was going to be killed at the end of Andor, and I was wrong about that. And for being wrong, I got to eat a very hot chip and answer Star Wars questions.
That was still one of the most impressive things that I've ever seen, you being able to hold it together through that. And like still like answer everything.
Yeah,
I
that's
couldn't see
because
the
after
screen.
I
My
stopped
eyes were watering.
That's because after I
Yeah.
stopped recording, that's when he let it all out.
I mean,
It's not
kudos.
wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if we're, it's not huge, but if we're talking about like just being incorrect, I thought that Bo-Katan was going to train Din to wield the Darksaber to mold him into becoming Mandalore. That wasn't the case.
Both Pep and I have been wrong every time we've said Quinlan Voss was going to show up.
Remember when I think all of us said Kira was going to be in Book of Boba Fett, and then
Yes.
that didn't happen.
Yes.
I'm still upset she wasn't. Like, I'm still genuinely upset that like that's the perfect opportunity to pull a character back like that, and nope.
Yeah, with the syndicates and the criminal underworld, like it's literally narratively the only place she fits right in.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see the new meme though? It's I'm not talking about Ahsoka. It's technically a meme, but it's like it's Dave Filoni holding up a sign saying your Merrick theory sucks.
I love it.
Krista says,
I mean, all of-
Clone Wars right before and after Order 66, Ahsoka and Rex moments. Ooh, forgot
Yeah,
that.
those were
That's
really
also
good.
really good.
graveyard, The graveyard.
Okay, so
cried
and I
at
feel
that
bad
moment,
for
too.
saying it. Often Order 66 moments don't get me anymore because, it's like it's just numb there. You keep hitting the same spot. God damn it!
That scar
But-
tissue is thick.
It depends.
When
Reva
Reva said that she played dead, that she hid in a pile of her friends' bodies and felt them go cold, that was the worst. That hurt me. It hurts me now.
that one almost. I think
my-
that one also like got
It's
me.
pretty dark.
That one got me back because it was just seeing a bunch of kids just running. That just like really affected me. Like like these are children who just watched like their teacher get gunned down and now are just like running through this thing. I think it's also that line from Reva too. We saw Anakin and we thought he was there to help us, and I'm like, bro, oh my god.
A positive emotional moment was Caloran Beck. That legitimately
Oh
made
my
me sob.
god,
I was so happy with that.
so good.
I will say,
I was
will
watching
add
That was-
Sunshine.
I will add to that a positive moment. Let's change gears here, Krista and everybody in the chat. Leave your most positive moment in Star Wars. I'll add to Cal's in that, although we've been wrong every single time, just because I always assert that Quinlan's gonna be there. When Kenobi said Quinlan was here, I lost my shit at just the name drop. Cause until then there was nothing. I always like, oh, Quinlan can be here. Quinlan, like, what if Mando and Quinlan had like this, like thing in the Mandalorian, and then like Kenobi show comes up, and I'm like, we have to see Quinlan, and then just like me and Choco's theories were correct in that regard, right? We were like, well, Quinlan would be the one like helping smuggling people, like survivors, right? And then we got the Kenobi show, and he's like, Quinlan was here, and it's like, yeah, he's been helping. He's like, yeah, I know he was helping.
Like, that makes sense.
I think for me a good emotional moment, gotta go to the Light of the Jedi, Bell Zettifer's "What's Up Danger" moment when he like free falls and catches the girl. Like, oh my god, I screamed. I was like, oh my god, he did it! And he just tells me out of brain. I was losing my shit.
So 2 things. The entire book, Fallen Star.
Oh, that's a good emotional moment for you.
Oh no, not good emotion, but just emotion in general. But for good emotion would be the entire second half of Midnight Horizon. But specifically, the ending of Cantum Size story, and then Yoda arrives like Thor does in Avengers. The same exact.
Oh my god, Convergence, Zirian Fontu, I'm madly in love with you. I think she says like good or something, and just like take a gun and start shooting into the crowd. I'm like, bruh.
You know what?
Yeah.
That is a ship that's up there for me for sure.
I'm saying love
they're like-
Zirian Fontu.
Get married, and they're like, all right, now who we gotta kill? Like,
There's one scene. I'm sorry, good.
Well, really quickly, another one that's up there for me is Gela and Axel.
I don't like Axel. Axel pisses me off, man. I can't get behind anything with Axel. I don't like that
But
little
they're
piece of
dynamic together.
Axel just pisses me off.
We'll wait until more people join the phrase of Phase 2. But
now I may need to step away for a brief moment here.
step away for a brief moment.
There's one moment in there's one I didn't hear the back. There's one moment in like Phase 2 I love is when like they're having that face off with someone and he like insults Fan 2 and Fan 2 like flinches and Ziri like has to fight the urge to shoot him. I'm like, that is making me go feral.
Christo's positive moments are when Yoda trains Luke in Empire Strikes Back. It just sounds so wise. Yes, I love that moment too. That moment is one moment in particular from that moment is when he says, "And that is why you fail." I think a lot of people have been and could benefit from just a simple message of like the moment you start believing is when things get a little bit easier to accept. A lot of people approach things with "that's impossible," and you're like, well, it's only impossible because you think it is.
I think bringing it back to Luke, one of my positive ones was his encounter with Kylo Ren in the First Order, and getting to see Luke come full circle and be like the epitome of a Jedi in that moment, and like completely re-spark hope in the galaxy in like the most selfless way possible. That one was one I was just like, I was like
Not
cheering in my
He's
seat.
non-violently.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Non-violently.
like in the most Jedi way possible. It was
But
so
then
good.
like you add on what happened afterwards. So not only did he do it non-violently, at the end of it all he let go. So it's literally, hey, I'm gonna practice defense, knowledge and defense, and then I'm going to let go. And those are the most important things to a Jedi, is approaching things diplomatically, for knowledge and defense, and then of course the ability to let go. You know, and in that moment he was like, I will not be the last Jedi, and he's like, my job here is done. You know, I've given them enough time. Rey's gonna take it from here, and then Obi-Wan. I like to think it's Obi-Wan because that's what he says to Luke in the first movie. Let go. And then he lets go. So he becomes detached and he is selfless, and that's
Yeah, it's just the epitome of Jedi. And like, as somebody who couldn't ever really connect to Luke because he just seemed like a power fantasy at first, that made him a hero to me. Like that's the moment that like made him a Jedi, not like the power trip and stuff like that.
But why didn't he crush up into a ball like Starkiller? It's not as cool, guys. He had to use forced lightning.
I forgot we had this stuff, so I'm just playing them.
Looking.
Choco just slides in.
Yeah. I was
Mess
acting like
around,
my
like, I
DMs.
What?
Who's DMs?
Your mom's.
Hold on. Now,
Wow.
now tune into the stream.
What did I just say?
Just for that, I'm very livid with you, Choco. How could you?
Okay, last question before we wrap things up. We are approaching that time of the day, time of the show. Your favorite lightsaber moment. Not a fight, not the whole thing, just this one moment that we're like, that was pretty hot. That.
Now. All right. Un momento.
For me, it would be Stellan using one essentially as a shield by spinning it. That was pretty sick at the High Republic fair.
Oh man, that was an incredible moment. One of the moments that I like to think back on is Loden during Light of the Jedi when
I can't.
when their steelies are when he dismounts the steely and like a starfighter starts shooting him and he's like, nope, I'm going to deflect these laser bolts. I'm like, you realize these aren't blaster bolts, these are coming from a starfighter. These are larger.
They got some stopping power in them.
And they're like, are you okay, Loden? He's like, I'm okay, I'm fine.
I think there's two I have to tie. I can't pick between these two. Battle scars when Marin coats her fucking hands in like Night Sister fire and grabs the beam of the fifth brother's lightsaber and holds that shit and is like locked in a fucking like standstill with him. That was the most metal shit I had ever read. And then Last Jedi when Rey throws Kylo the saber and he just holds it up to that one guy's head and it just like ka-chunk like on his face. And I'm like, bro, just the hole in his face. I'm like, bro, you can do that in Star Wars.
I mean, a lot of people have been wanting to, like in Visions in season 1, where where he literally turns it off and then like goes into his center mass and then turns it on instead of stabbing him.
I love that episode.
Yeah, that's another one.
General Grievous having 4 of them is the sickest shit ever. No one can convince me otherwise.
Like, let's be
And
real.
then
That is
Spinning them.
incorrect. Ponkrell
Vroom,
having
vroom,
2
vroom,
double-bladed was cooler.
But
We're talking about-
Ponkrell isn't a pure
that a
sex
moment,
machine
though?
like
Is that a
Grievous
moment?
is.
I'll give you an example of what we're looking for here, Choco. Now that you're back.
Oh no,
Honorable
I was just
mention-
replying to him. That's not my moment.
Honorable mention, Satil Shan, when Malchus goes in for the kill and just goes, nope.
Yep. Yeah, pretty sick.
But yeah, if I was to go moment, I would have to say F. The moment with F in Visions when she, as Shayla Ren so eloquently put her Crocs in sport mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just such a samurai moment that I don't know. I specifically love that. Also, anytime Ahsoka ignites her lightsabers and was like pulling them apart,
Yeah.
every time that happens. And I guess this is not truly a lightsaber moment, but Vader riding down with his lightsaber ignited on top of the tie. I don't know.
Yeah.
All the drama.
Also, saber copters. Bring
I'll
it
be
back
honest,
for
I have a video defending them. I don't think that they're as bad as everybody says.
I love saber copters. They're so stupid.
I mean, literally, technologically, and in universe, they have repulsors on them, so they can fly.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna get into it. I could go on.
This is everyone thinks it looks goofy. That's why.
Sure. Tauntauns look goofy.
That's why they
dare
cut
you,
them
sir.
open. That's why they cut them open and
That's
fly
why
inside.
I said it.
Have you guys ever like Battlefront 2, that one tauntaun that's in the Hoth base, that face it fucking makes looks like a sleep paralysis demon?
I don't have
It's
that
just like-
sleep
I know that.
paralysis demons. I have dreams of
Oh,
Bix and Domina.
Jeez.
They can press me all they want.
Yeah.
got it. Also, Trials of the Darksaber. Everything that happens that episode is amazing.
I do like it when they think they have, when the Inquisitor thinks they have Ahsoka and they start spinning and she just grabs it.
So good.
I also love Kanan's use of Ezra's lightsaber.
Why
When
didn't I
he's
think of
charging
that?
the
He
Grand-
goes,
Charging
yeah.
the Grand Inquisitor is like pew pew pew, and then Blade. It's just like, I don't know. It's just a fun scene too.
I mean, like, he's like, yeah, now there's nothing to hold me back. And you're like, oh, damn.
Flying
my
so
gosh.
cold. He's like, no one left to die for you, nothing left to fear. I'm like, oh, you messed up, Quizzy.
Another moment.
Light skin Ahsoka.
Another moment. Vader versus Reva.
Oh,
When he does the Force Tai Chi on her and just like wah 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 wah.
yeah. Throws her throwing the lightsaber back is one of the most disrespectful moves in all of Star Wars. That was so disrespectful. He did not care. That was some demon time right there. Go pick it up, girl. I'm like,
Let's
bro.
be real too. The moment Darth Maul lights the other half of his lightsaber, everybody lost their mind. Even the
Yeah.
people that hated the prequel, like, who cares? Like, it was just such a sick moment.
The Force Awakens teaser, when Kylo ignites his lightsaber for the first time, everyone lost their shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he always
true.
gotta stop his feet.
Yeah, stop.
Stop.
It's so edgelord of him.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Oh my god, that too. How could we forget fucking Kylo impaling Snoke on in the middle with his lightsaber is also iconic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Speaking
the
of
thigh
Snoke-
grab. The
Yeah.
thigh grab.
Speaking of Snoke, another moment when Rey's like, right, and then Snoke is like, and then just oh.
Yep.
Funny.
I think another one, Shadows of the Sith, the lightsaber scimitar reveal. I kind of lost it at that. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, it curves.
It curves?
Oh man, we could go on and on about lightsaber moments in Star Wars, but it is just about that time for the end of the episode. Malik, do you have any final words or final thoughts, parting thoughts?
Pay your writers, you idiots out there, because we want to talk about cool stuff, but you're not paying your writers and stuff. So do that. If there's any Hollywood executives watching this podcast, pay your writers. But also, this has been great. I love talking to people about things that are nerdy and great. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Absolutely, you can call it anytime. Cal, parting words.
More Star Wars is good Star Wars. It's just more to love.
Absolutely.
And what's coming on the Cal Show tonight? Anything to plug?
I don't know, man. I mean, I got stream. Unfortunately, and no alcohol. No, I don't. I mean, it's a double whammy, unfortunately. But I don't know, probably just Overwatch or something like that.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy.
Choco?
Yeah, it's good stuff. Lightsabers are good stuff. I was not. I don't know why I wasn't expecting you to come back to me, but yeah. Thank you everyone in chat for hanging out. You know, we know there's less stuff to talk about now, but we still have fun hanging out. You're more than welcome to join us, toss things in chat like you have been doing, or pop in here live, because we always love it, and we'd love to get new faces up here, and because we just want y'all in the community. That's the goal, is to have people come to the community and talk about stuff they love.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
On another note, we'd like to apologize to our guest, AJ Starkiller. We're out of time. As always, you are what we grow beyond.
Damn.
It's a running gag that I want to keep on running, even without his knowledge. But thanks to everyone, as Choco said, for tuning in to this episode of Dyad in the Force. We will be back next week talking about... What are we going to be talking about next week?
We would love to see that. No, we were going to talk about who we are going to be, who we would be in the Star Wars universe, and hopefully we'll also talk about Dark Droids, which is the next or the current crossover. But there's only one issue out, and just overall thoughts where we see it might go and stuff. So yeah, tune in next week.
And with that said, that is it. On to the next one.
For light and for life,
we're all the Dyad.
May the Force be with you always.
Oh!